So what's up for today? Two seminars in a row because we had a French seminar a few hours ago. So I'm a bit cooked. Just some feedback from last week because it was, I think, Leon, who is not here, had some very good ideas on the reports and screenshots and so on. And screenshotting screens to put them on the report was obviously something I wanted to do since long and was somehow started in the app. So I just finished it. And I think you will like it for several reasons. So let me just show you. Okay, the focus of the next update was to increase the shareability of everything so that users want to share something, to increase the exchanges between users and pros, and to make things simpler and so on, because we still have some bugs, especially it seems on Android on the recording. So this should be now better with the next version. And the next update will also include the new server that I just spoke about, which is maybe 10 times faster and 100 times bigger to store a lot of things, which we will need because of these new screenshots that I'm going to introduce you. Dan, you will also be happy to know that I've started integrating the export for the Phi-Ray. Phi-Ray? Do you say Phi-Ray or Phi-Ray? I'm not sure. Phi-Ray, probably.
What's the word?
I don't know, Dan, say it, but open your mic.
It's Phi-Ray.
It's
You
Phi-Ray.
speak Phi-Ray, and I'm very excited.
Yeah, so it turns out it's not probably the definitive export because Nick still has to send me a curve of the device response. But for everybody who doesn't own a Phi-Ray, the Phi-Ray is just inputting the harmonic boost frequencies and playing them through a proprietary amplifier and some plasma waves. It has some specific frequency responses, so I am currently working with Nick to adjust the harmonic boosts according to these specific frequency responses. So the idea is that when you open a report, we will now have a new export for devices button that starts with the Phi-Ray, but maybe could be used for other devices. At first, I was maybe imagining that we could export for the Spooky, maybe, or things like that, you know. So it could be useful to know that we start implementing these functions. And let me just show you. So when you go to the harmonic boost, oh, that's a bug, okay, of course. You right-click here, and now, of course, you right-click here. And you might have a new option here, which would be called export for Phi-Ray. And if you want to activate it and test it, then I'm still in French, sorry. You have to go to the parameters and to audio and check export for Phi-Ray. So this will change the audio exports. And then if you go back here and you right-click here, of course, and you go back here and you right-click here, you now have export for Phi-Ray, okay? That would take the MP3 and prepare it with some additional headers and so on, something that is requested for the Phi-Ray. So it's not yet ready. So if you test it, then please do it with caution. It's just adjusting the amp level that you can do on the screen. It's basically the same that Nick already did when you sent him some harmonic boosts. I think it's a nice development because maybe in a few months we can have some other prepared exports for other devices. And so integrating directly BioCoherence into the workflow of other devices, I think is very nice.
Thank you, Medrick. That's wonderful because there are so many other devices besides Phi-Ray that use magnetics and stuff that That's just, I mean, you're going to make BioCoherence the controller for many things.
Yeah, which is an idea because I see BioCoherence as a platform from the beginning that could be interfaced with other devices and maybe control other devices if we can control them through Bluetooth or anything, So it's a start of expanding to other devices. And then we will need users that have BioCoherence and other devices to see what is needed to do and so on. But I think it's a good start.
Perfect. Thank you.
And Leon is here, so it's time to show him what he requested last week. Leon, you had a request last week. Do you remember? So the new thing in the latest beta or the next update is that you can go to any screen and you now have this little photo button here and the ability to get some screenshots. So if you want to show, for instance, the third eye to your client, you just open it as you want to show it and you click on screenshot and you see it will reframe it on a white background and you can annotate it. You can do anything, add some text and save it. And now you can even share it and send it by message or WhatsApp or anything. You can edit it again, or you can just put it into the report. So when you do a screenshot, and by the way, it works with any screen. So if you go to, I don't know, this one, and you want to see a particular meridian, you can also take the screenshot. Yeah. And you can, again, annotate it if you want and validate it. And now you can share it directly and send it by email or WhatsApp or anything to your clients. Or to share it on social networks if you want to show. But you have all your screenshots that are here. So you can find them again. And if you go to the report, I should really switch to English, sorry. You have a new section here that will be called screenshots. And it will come in a few seconds. Okay, screenshots. And they are here. So all the screenshots will be integrated into your PDF report and you can print it. And when you print it out, I don't know if you see my print screen. Oh, yes, you see it. You see that it will be integrated on the PDF. So we still have some minor adjustments to do so that it's not cut and so on. But I think it's a good start to make a much nicer PDF report and being able to share easily something with your clients with some text. My idea was to add also an audio recording feature on this so that you can add some audio comments. And when we start having screenshots, text and audio comments, maybe we can do just a tour of your analysis for your clients. So my idea would be to expand that. And when you are on this screen, you could have here a play button and like tour my analysis with Dan, okay? Because Dan has recorded some screenshots and some audio comments, and it will just play like a PowerPoint, with your audio explaining things and the screens showing things like you showed them. It has also another interesting benefit in that we can do a preview of a particular analysis on the web if your client doesn't have the app yet. So we can now share a magic link that I showed you last week. And this magic link is something like biocoherence.net/open/something. So if you share a basic program, for instance, and your client doesn't have the app, it would open the BioCoherence website with a preview of the basic program, with maybe the ability to play it directly in the browser if it's a public program, why not? And a link to open it in the app or to install the app. So it would make it very easy to share things even with people that don't have the app yet and to, of course, entice them to install the app because they will have more. But if you share an exploration with a client and the client didn't install the app yet, when you share this exploration, it could also be a very easy link like that, like biocoherence.net/open/something. And the preview on the website could be an anonymized version of the exploration with just your screenshots and comments, so that you can even share it with anybody that would be interested to see how it looks. And you just send a link. It wouldn't display the name of the client, etc. It would just show some screenshots and some text. And I think it could be really nice to share the app with people that don't have the app yet and to see real world results, you know? Yeah, so I think it's a good development to be able to screenshot. And thank you, Leon, to push me to release this, because it was somehow, in a way, a little bit ready, but now it's almost ready. And so, Leon, given your feedback on Android devices, we've made some improvement on Bluetooth reconnect and disconnections, and so on. So let's hope it will work better with Android devices. And in general, when you have problems of the device disconnecting after something like 60 or 100 bits, and it just disconnects by itself, now it should try to reconnect automatically. And it was a little bit frustrating. I'm sorry for that. So it should be better in the next version too.
Because I thought that the 10-second countdown was an opportunity for you to press the sensor again. But I'm not sure if that's...
Yes. Well, it should, yes. But when it's disconnecting, now it will actively try to reconnect. And for that, it has to disconnect completely and restart the process, but it will do everything in the background by just trying to reconnect. If it disconnected, we just assume that if it disconnects in the middle of a recording, it's a problem, it's an error, so it will just try and reconnect by itself.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just have to experience it.
Yes.
Because I feel like it's got more buggier with the last update. That's at the end, the way the scans end. It's like I'm not sure whether.
Okay. Okay. Something else that you will like. Let me share my screen again. Now, when you click on any help button, it will show you. You know, I'm on a computer, so I have some text on the bottom that explains what happens with the different buttons. But when you are on a mobile device, it wouldn't work. So now there is a new function when you click on help. It's called screen guide. And screen guide will just explain you all of the buttons with what it does. And you can just click on it to know, of course, it's still in French, to know what will happen when you click on it. So it's just a kind of tour of everything that is active on the page and what it does. It works beautifully on a mobile phone too. So it's a way to discover the app without too much hassle, I think. So when you are on any, let's go back, for instance, on chakras, and you click on help, and you click on screen guide, and it will just show you the different chakras. So everywhere there, on every part where there is a tooltip text, it will do the same on a mobile or on an iPad. So the idea behind that is that it should be easier for users to be onboarded and to understand the application easily.
I've already used that function with the client, and they loved it because it's not the balloons. It doesn't need to be the balloons. They get to pick, oh, what does this mean? It's very powerful. Yeah. Thank you.
Great. Another thing, it's a small detail, but it's important. Now we will automatically discard re-evaluations that are too short, because sometimes your client does a re-evaluation that is only a few bits long, and we cannot really do something with it. So now you see I have 2, 3, and 5 because 1 and 4 were discarded in these columns because it was too short. And we have the same on top. You can see that 1 and 4 are grayed out, so you can still access it, but it's not put forward because it's too short. So the results from this particular reevaluation would not really be meaningful because they were too short. You know, we now have an alert at the end of a recording. If it's too short, it stays the recording. It's too short, we want to continue it. So people are encouraged to do it at least 50 bits for a reevaluation and at least 128 bits for the initial one. But if by any chance people stop anyway, or if there was a connection problem or anything, it will not appear in the columns anymore because it was a little bit missing results otherwise. I don't know if you saw when I shown the MP3 menu, but you also can now delete an MP3 file if you want by just right-clicking on it. So let me just show it to you again. So when you are on the share icon, if you long-click, you have a menu, and now you have this delete MP3 option that allows you to just remove the file. And it will also delete it from the server because you remember that now, or maybe you don't, I don't know if it was already the case last week. If you do a small file, for instance, anyway, if you do an MP3, if it's for a client, it will now be sent to the server and stored on the server. And when the client opens your exploration, it will download all your screenshots and all your prepared MP3s so that everything is ready for the client to play. So your client doesn't have to compute the MP3 again. They will be ready in their file. I didn't want to do that in the beginning to not overload the server, but at the end, we now have a much bigger server, and it's also much more practical for the clients. So let's just make the life for clients easy, and everything is prepared. They have their screenshots, so they can tour the analysis if they want. They have their prepared MP3s, and everything is just ready. And in the same spirit, we are now saving the file on the cloud as complete files with all the biomarkers ready so that you don't have to recompute biomarkers when you exchange files with your clients, because although it was a little bit long. So starting with the next version, we will save on the server the full explorations with all data. The idea is that you can, if your client updates it, for instance, you can download it and open it directly, and every calculation will already be made, so you don't have to recompute it. So you can start working directly with it. Yes, Dan?
Well, you know, I think that I don't know a lot about AO, but one of the people I'm working with that I've done business with him, had businesses with him before. What you have just done here when you get it up and running will be way more than the AO solar software, because you're going to be able to combine everything, give them exactly what they want. And when they, you know, and it's in the software program, it's not just a generated report. So you're saving them money against that, right? And by doing that, I think we're really showing the power of BioCoherence as a platform for whatever you want to integrate with. And it's very personally structured for that person. You know, and we can add the comments. Now they don't have to think about it. And then as this goes forward, if you continue to interact with them, you know, it's almost like a training device, an easily way to not train them, but to get them, you know, situated and comfortable with BioCoherence. It's very powerful. Thank you, Medric. These are really good options.
And you know, if your client has a specific question on a biomarker or I don't know what, you can just open the relevant screen and just screenshot it, add some comments on it, and just send him the answer like that. And it's very powerful because you create a really good interaction with your client. And it's pretty quick to do with the app. And again, your screenshots are synced with the cloud. So if you share your exploration with your clients, your screenshots will be sent as attachments to the cloud, and he can just open your screenshots and your comments directly from his exploration. And I think, I don't know, what do you think of adding some audio comments to the screenshots? Do you think it's a good idea?
Any time that we can add either a professional diagnosis or add a comment to any part, in any form, that's just going to be another powerful option, which, you know, it will, I don't know about other people, but I feel it will take some of the load off me, because in 10 minutes, I can say, you know, if they have a question, you know, and I can just in 10 minutes go to that module, add comments in any form, whether it's vocal or typed in, and then send it off. And, you know, that's, I think, and I could even do that on the run, you know, especially if I have it on my phone.
On a mobile phone too, so it's fine.
So, you know, in a doctor's office, he quickly talks and he has to send it to a transcriber. Because he doesn't have time to type all this stuff out. So this is really perfect, because this will save a lot of time for any of the practitioners who have a client, and it's documentation at speed. You know, it's like shorthand, only the verbal thing. And now the AI can always take what you ever said verbally and transcribe that into text if you need to put it into the PDF. I mean, if you wanted to put it in notes, you could actually get the AI to actually take that audio file and give it to them in print if you need be, aside from the MP3.
Yeah, sure. But if we do an audio comment of the screenshots, it would rather be for playing to the user. So a kind of explanation, more than a note for yourself, you know.
Well, it'd be something to archive for, you know, like if you have a client database going on, and, you know, so you have some kind of records of what you're doing with the client, you know, so we're not just dealing it per day or per week. It's like we might not see this person for a month or so if we've worked on them, and we need to go back and look at that file again. And whether we keep them on the server or we keep them like on our hard drive or something, so that we have a way to document a client, you know.
So you think it would be interesting to have a way to have an audio recording just for you, just as a memo?
Yeah, or something that we can archive for ourselves for the client. You know,
we already have that. When you save, let me show you.
In the comments, that
when you save it, you can add some comments, and this is only for you. And if you are on a mobile or on a Mac, you can just click on microphone and start dictating, and it would write what you say.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I forgot. Sorry.
So I think it's a.
Wait a minute. Go back. That's awesome. Where do you go to microphone at? I did not know this.
Do you have a Mac or an iPad or an iPhone?
Oh,
PC,
okay. This is on a computer. Okay.
So PC doesn't work, doesn't have this option?
Probably yes. No, probably with the latest version of Windows, you have a way to dictate. Does it?
Well, you know, the thing that I like about adding audio comments is my mom is blind, and I'm trying to get into Merrill Gardens where she lives, and there's a lot of seniors that I'm dealing with that have very low vision. So an audio file, I mean, my mom, you know, has an Apple and it talks to her.
Yeah.
You know, she can tell it to dial things, right? And so that audio feature, especially if you can tie it into AI so that AI will polish it up a little, you know, that's just so powerful, Medrick. Thank you.
Well, I'm sure we can record some audio on top of the screenshots, and that would be useful. I'm just a little bit doubtful of adding personal audio notes only for you, because these notes would be better used written, I think. So in that case, you should probably just dictate into the comments. I don't know.
No, that's, yeah, I'm not asking for a separate thing for me. I just assumed that I could actually dictate it. And when I say AI, if I need a transcription, then there's AI or something, and I could actually probably do that on a separate file and just paste it in. I mean, that's an AI thing.
So in those comments, if I hit the microphone and I talk it in, it'll transcribe it?
Sorry, let me show you. So I'm currently on a Mac, so it's a little bit different in every situation, but I'm on a Mac. I just hit 2 times on Option. No. And now I can speak, and it should write some of my words. Okay.
Perfect. Awesome. I didn't know it did that.
And I just click again. So I can just dictate. And as you saw on the screen, it just writes what I'm saying. So I had to press 2 times on Control, I think, to start dictating. If you are on an iPhone or iPad, you have a little microphone icon on the bottom right, I think. So you just click on it and you start dictating and it will write the text. Okay. And if you are on a Windows, I'm sure there is a way, but I cannot tell you. So Dan, if you know it, tell us. Or otherwise, we can just search on internet to see how to dictate on a Windows, but I'm sure it's possible.
I didn't know I had that function, so I will research it, today or tomorrow. And when I find it, I will let you know, give you a screenshot or something.
Yeah, but really it's useful if you prefer talking instead of typing. It's really useful.
Well, I know that feature is available in certain areas. So like on the home screen, or if I'm searching, right, using search, you just click on the microphone and then you speak in, and so it's got to be available in there somehow. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll just look for it.
Okay. Did you find it for Windows?
Yeah, no, I did nothing.
Yeah. Okay. So Steven is currently looking how to do it for Windows. So we might have an instant answer. But as you say, another option would be to just record the audio on the screenshot and then have some audio recognition AI to transcribe it if needed. But I would assume if you want to type, you just enter your comments. And if you prefer to speak, you just record the audio. And anyway, it could be transformed into a kind of PowerPoint presentation for your client with the screenshots and your audio and the text. And why not also use it as a preview on internet? When your client doesn't have the app yet, he can still already see some screens. So maybe you can just share the analysis results. Even if your client cannot install the app, he can just go on with this BioCoherence.net/open/something and just have a preview of the results. Okay, so Steven, you want to speak?
This is going to be so beneficial for like how I'm getting clients interested in it is they just do a scan.
Yeah.
And basically they're paying the $39 or the $40 for like a Me Play unlock, right? And then the hindrance before is with the PDF and stuff. Now you've expanded that, and this new feature, it's just thank you. I just can't tell you how beneficial that's going to be. I hope this will be the step that takes my business to the next level. And I know I'm starting in trade fairs, but that's where the word, because I'm only going to places where people are already sensitized to the esoteric stuff. So I'm hoping that just really jumps my business.
Hey guys, if you just want to check the comments, you'll see that I've basically included instructions on how to enable dictate on Windows and Mac. And in fact, actually with my Mac, it's actually very rare for me to type anything. It's just because it basically learns your voice after a while. So you can become very, very lazy. So use with caution.
But for Windows, you use the Windows K and H, it seems. So you just go to the field and you type Windows H and you can start dictating. Speaking of sharing things, not in the next version because this one will be probably ready tomorrow, but in the version after that, I want to include some screens that people really want to share on the social medias. And it would be, for instance, my personality type, my coherence score with a very easy and simple thing, my main resource organ, for instance, or just a few screens that are very nice and that people are really enticed to share on my progress, of course, if you do some reevaluations and you have a nice curve. So this is also something that could add some variety to the product, which we need now. Yes, Frédéric.
Can I contribute to that?
Sorry?
Can I contribute some of those
yes, please.
Feedback? So I wish you were in the room yesterday. I went to see my eye surgeon.
Yeah.
And I'd seen my eye doctor, not the same guy. So this is the guy I saw in February, who is supposedly going to operate with the brain surgeon. It's a team. Mm-hmm. And he said, come back and see me. So he does the 3 typical tests. There's a visual field test. There's a, the usual eyesight and the nerve scan. And he looks at the one from February and he looks at the one from yesterday and he looks and he looks and he looks. Says, I don't understand. It's better than it was last time. It's like I'm going. Okay, I said nothing to him, and so it was just then that I actually downloaded it on my phone because until then it was a little cumbersome. So I've been doing it on my ears, and actually I've been traveling quite a bit, so I wasn't as regular. So I didn't expect any results. And I'm just doing the harmonic boost, which is about 30 minutes, at least once a day, sometimes 2 times a day. Okay. Sometimes I missed for a few times, and so he said, okay, you're not falling off a cliff. This is not urgent, but we still recommend that you do a surgery because blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, I'm very busy. It's going to be at least 4 or 5 months. He said, yeah, it's going to be 5 or 6 months before we can take you. So I kind of said to myself, okay, we'll put me on the list, but if I show up and I'm 50% better, I'm just going to cancel, So it gives us a little bit of like a focus. And last time you were kind enough to offer a consultation with Christine because I'm just listening to the general scan that I did. And it doesn't even mention eye. It doesn't mention anything about tumor. But I guess I'm just generally getting a vibrational boost throughout my body.
We are working on a holistic point of view. So
yeah, but I'm just imagining how much more powerful it can be if Christine could look at my scan, or if I should do another one, and I'm happy to pay for her professional services so that I could get a, really focused harmonic boost on this whole thing along with everything else. So I don't know, we could maybe discuss that afterwards by email, or how could we do that?
I can send you her email or WhatsApp and you just see with her.
Okay, if you would do that, I would appreciate it. I could, on peut parler en français si c'est plus facile pour elle, ça me dérange pas. Peut-être l'accent sera pas aussi beau, mais elle va me comprendre.
Non, c'est très bien. On adore l'accent canadien.
Ok, oui. On sait que je suis pas né à Paris. Okay, so that's great. So I'll contact her directly and see if I can get a boost. Yeah. And then would you recommend if I do it first thing in the morning, last thing at night, maybe one more time in the middle of the day, would that be optimal or should it be less or more?
I really don't have specific recommendation. You do it as you feel. And if you feel you need it more, just do it more. At that time, I don't have, science-based recommendations of how many harmonic boosts you should do in a day for specific conditions. It's hard to say. So just go with your thing.
You muscle test, Frederick? Do you know how to? Do you know how to muscle test?
No, which you mean like
how many times a day?
No.
Like this. You take your two fingers like this.
Yeah.
And then you can say, is it best for me to do biocoherence today? Truth, yes or no? Yes is a pull out.
Okay. Yeah. I do it with a pendulum.
Yeah, perfect. So then
But
just
it's
ask every day how many times.
actually, I've been doing it for many years. It's very important not to ask a question.
Yeah.
It has to be in the form of a statement. So it's like, it is best for me to use biocoherence. It is not advised. In other words, this is something I learned over the years, that pendulum or these other forms work better when it's made as a statement. You can get a yes or no, or a release or not a release. But I do that, and it's been telling me actually. When I did that, it's between, 2 and 4 times a day would be optimal, not 5 or 10, and not 1.
Right.
But I guess it would be different for every person, is kind of what you're saying.
And different days too. So some days you may
different.
do it 4 times a day. Another day you may only need to do it once.
Ah, good. I never thought of that, actually. So it's good to check in.
I do ask truth, yes or no, between after, during a question. So I agree with you on how you ask a question is very, very important. So,
But like I say, it's not as much a question as a statement that they agree with. Anyway, I find that kind of takes a little bit of the psychological influence out of it.
right.
I don't know. Anyway, everybody does their own way. So I thank you, Stephen. I got that. So that's the phone number. I should just text her directly.
Yes.
On WhatsApp?
Or WhatsApp, yeah.
Or WhatsApp.
Okay, that's even better. Okay. On pourrait faire un appel pour commencer. Okay. Terrific. Thank you. And I guess in the process, I'm doing good for my whole body because I've had this bout with arthritis and polymyalgia for about 5 years. I've been taking quite a high dose of NSAIDs like Advil and naproxen because I was like a cripple. And I really was worried about my kidneys and my liver. And I did a blood test, and my doctor said, "That's unbelievable. Your kidneys are like the kidneys of a 30-year-old. You're at 87, at 90, you'd be like a 30-year-old. And I'm like, okay, I'll take that. Thank you. And the liver is healthy and everything. And I'm pretty sure that the holistic approach is increasing the vibration of the whole body to be healthy.
Yeah.
And just sorry to continue. What I haven't done is the follow-up scans.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Is that still important to, I guess, the curve? I haven't figured out how to read the follow-up scans. I've done 3 days on the 21,
Yes, and you have to just click on the record button to do a reevaluation. And when you do a reevaluation, you will have your curves.
Okay, thank you.
And by the way, just another thing, Ines, who is doing graphics for us, is working hard on making a very short trailer for BioCoherence. And she says it will be amazing. I didn't see it yet, but I have great confidence. And she's working on some things that would be less than a minute and very dynamic, just to introduce BioCoherence as a short movie, So I think it would be great. And then maybe we can do some very short films to introduce something like how to use the frequencies with some suggestions that you have, Stephen. We could use this short movie format to share it on the social media, but also to use it as a guide from within the app or from the website. Like someone who is newly introduced to audio frequencies healing, which is quite new and very specific. We should have a kind of intro trailer to explain in 1 minute how to get the best of from the frequencies. What?
So, just to start off with, what is a frequency?
And what is a frequency too?
Simple.
So yes, we are going on this kind of graphic design things too, and introducing movie. Yes, Laura?
Can I ask you a question or show you on my thing here? This right here, we were asking yesterday what this number means and what the gray compared to like the green color means. Do you explain that, please?
Okay, so the green is everything above 70, and the red is everything under 30.
Hold
And
on.
the number is computed from everything we know from this particular biomarker, not only the flower petals, but also the intrinsic qualities, which are attention, intention, horizon, and the external qualities, which are the links with other items, and the quality of these links, and so on. All of this gives us this final number. Then we normalize it between 0 and 100. So we have computed all the biomarkers to see the norms for each family and so on. And it should give us a good idea of the general health of this particular biomarker on a system theory point of view. It means it takes its own qualities, but also the link qualities with other systems. So if you have a very energetic and very good biomarker, but it is not linked to anything else, it will have a pretty low score, you know. And conversely, if you have a May biomarker, not so energetic, not so on, but it has very good links with other organs, for instance, it might have a higher mark. And if it's rather on the long term and its intention and attention are average and so on, it will increase its score.
So
if the attention and intention are, for instance, dispersed or stressed or unfocused, it will lower the score and so on.
So if it's a lower score, do you think that's where we go in and do more of the stimulus?
Yes.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yes, the higher the better.
Okay.
So
Right.
that's why. Yes, sorry.
One more thing, but if you still want to go on about that, go ahead.
No. That's why I put an arbitrary mark at 70. So everything over 70 is green right now. We will need a little bit more background and experience to see if maybe the better mark is 75 or 65, I don't know. But right now, everything over 70 is with a green background, and everything under 30 is with a red background.
Well, under 30, and that's red. And then the gray is...
And the gray is between 30 and 70.
Okay, but do you recommend doing stimulus in the gray or just in the red?
It depends, because on my scan, I have seldom no red. But if you take some scans from people that are really in distress, you will see a lot of red. So you have to anyway prioritize what you want to do. As you know, too much information is no information. So you have to focus on what you want to work in this particular exploration. So for the coming month, and maybe work with 10 or 15 stimuli, but not 200, you know. So
okay, then one more. Do you have any updates for the vet yet, the animals?
No.
You know, I got 2 dogs and I'm just like itching to get there. So when you do but yeah.
It seems you work on your dogs with the existing frequencies and it works well. So I would say you can work with the existing frequencies on a therapeutic point of view. So to harmonize things, you can work directly with these frequencies with animals. The difficulty is on the scan side, because we would need to have baselines for the HRV of animals, which is not so common, and all the heartbeats of animals, you know. We will need to have baselines for all the calculations that we do based on these electrocardiograms for different animals. which will not be an easy feat. And then we will have to have all the visuals for the animals. Because of course, if you scan a dog and you see the shape of a human, it's a bit strange.
It might be.
So, you know, for a dog, it's another mammal, so it's not such a problem. But if you scan, I don't know, a fish or a bird, I don't know what.
Like a lizard or something?
Yes, but how do you scan a lizard? You know, if you have to do an ECG on him, it's complicated. So I think for animals,
Cats and dogs are a good place to start.
yes,
Maybe
but
horses. I
I'm
don't
not
know.
sure at the end if it's realistic to do some ECG on animals or not. So for the scan part, there are some difficulties. Practical, I mean, try and do an ECG on a cat and come back to me, because the cat will just freak out. So you can do it on a horse, for instance, but then the horse has 30 beats per minute. So it's probably not the same baseline as us. So we have to adjust probably some things. But what you can do for sure is some basic programs for animals. And these basic programs should probably use the same frequencies as the humans, because as you saw by yourself, you chose some programs and you did it on your dog and it worked fine. So the hitting frequencies are probably the same, except for probably some specific things. We also have some specific pathogens, for instance, for animals. So extending the harmonization for animals would not be so complicated, but the analysis would be something else.
Maybe we could just do like an area just for cats and dogs, like fleas, and like put all of those kind of frequencies in one spot, maybe
Yeah, sure.
easier to
In
find.
the stimulus.
That'd be helpful.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the stimulus, we could do a folder for animals. That's a good idea. Yeah.
And Medrick, real quick about this
Yes.
question. I forget if it was my chart or whatever, but I got and I understand this, but I'm wondering how to explain this to somebody, because it happened in front of somebody else, that I had like menstruation frequencies that was running, like one of them, that it came up for me.
As a man?
Yeah.
It should be filtered. Unless you didn't update to the latest version, because in the stimuli?
That could have been like a...
Was it a stimulus?
Yeah, it was one of like the IUV, like the towards the bottom, where it was like a general...
He's asking, did you add it in as a stimulus, or did it come up right on harmonics?
No, it came up. It came up for like reproductive or something like that around the pelvis. So, I mean, I kind of interpreted, I don't know if that was a mistake, but I kind of interpreted it as like a pelvis thing or something.
Okay,
like
so we have several ways of filtering things, but if you are on a male or a female client or yourself, the app should filter every biomarker that is specific for female if you are a male, and conversely, of course, and the same for stimulus, but the stimulus were not filtered until recently. So maybe if you didn't update the stimulus programs, or if it was on a former version of the app, it was not filtered.
I think like a TCM.
Yeah.
So that's
a TCM receipt. A TCM receipt, that's possible, because
but like it's using acupoints, but the words were addressing like menstruation or and reproductive cycles or something like that.
Okay.
But it was, I think, an acupoint formula. So that was just weird for someone to see that. That's why I meant that it, like, to me, it could have made sense, because it's just like these acupoints that also on a female work those points. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, but nonetheless, it should be filtered. So it's possible that in some of the TCM receipts, I didn't put the M or F thing to filter them. So it's always strange when it's not filtered. Of course, all of it comes from a frequency analysis, and the frequency by itself doesn't know if you are a man or a female.
Right.
So it has to be filtered by the app. What was the do you remember a keyword of the name?
I can let me look. I thought it was on one of my charts.
Yes, but do you remember how it was named?
Uh, uh, let me see here. It was not exactly because it was a bunch of words.
Okay,
You know,
when you get it, just send it. Just send an email to me with the name, and I will filter it as a feminine program only.
okay.
We are now filtering the TCM receipts, unless I just didn't flag it. The stimulus, the biomarkers, and some screens like reproductive organs, of course. Yes, Dan.
Thank you. I was just going to say something about with TJ. I mean, right now we're, with the energy and stuff that's coming in and the masculine and the feminine and stuff. But, even, all people, all beings, humanoid beings have male and female, what do you call them, hormones, right? And men's are more dominant, but you still have the lack. So maybe the software was saying, okay, there's a hit right here that is needed. And in other words, TJ's. I mean, I don't know. I'm just putting this out, and it's not necessarily from TJ, but because I have shown in some of my reports, I didn't think of it as a problem, but it came up with female organ type stimulus, the same way. And I just thought, well, okay, I really don't want a lot of progesterone because I already have large enough breasts. They don't do push-ups, but I don't want to add more. But I figured that my body was needing something, and that's why it was there.
Oh yeah. Is my speaker still on here?
Yeah.
You're okay. Yeah, it's reproductive TCM.
Yes. I was exactly on this one. I've left it as male or female because it can also be reproductive disorders, and I think it could also cover many issues.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, but it said menstrual issues, so someone just saw that and then they were teasing me about it a little bit. So
yes, of course, it's if you want, I can add something like menstrual issues boundaries for women.
well, it was supposed to be manstrating, not menstruating.
Maybe you need to cut your hair.
Yeah.
But with a beard like that, I don't think there's any confusion, though.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what we have is it's called oh, I've lost it. Or maybe page 3. Reproductive. Okay. And the subtitle is Reproductive Disorders, Menstrual Issues, Fertility Concerns. So I've not restricted it to feminine because of reproductive disorders and fertility concerns, which also could be addressed for men,
Yep.
And if you check the associated acupuncture points, it's actually targeting men too. So maybe what I can do is just put menstrual issues between commas for women, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, I understood it like that, but I just know with the verbiage with somebody else that's maybe newer or whatever, it kind of puts a doubt in their mind of how well it's working.
Yes, but when you see reproductive disorders and fertility concerns, do you think it's only for women?
What? Not those other ones, but just that one word. So I'm just giving some.
Okay, so I will just start for women, and it will make things clear.
Yeah.
And it's done. As you would say, Stephen.
Wow.
I just have to translate it in 20 languages with one click. And it's done. Okay.
I'm
So we
curious.
go have reproductive disorders, menstrual issues for women, and fertility concerns.
So there may be something similar for women, for men that don't apply to women.
It's the same recipe.
Yeah.
Same recipe, same acupuncture points. So,
Yeah.
for instance, we have prostate, and I've put it only for men, and we have ovarian, I've put it only for women, of course.
Yeah.
And prostate is in double, by the way. You have to remove it. We have some double receipts, which is not very good. Okay.
I was wondering if I could go back to my question that I really wanted to ask. And it was basically what Laura was bringing up about the percentages. And
Yes.
I think that that's really valuable. Another way, because like sometimes I get people when we do scans and every single acupuncture point is just red and vibrating, and how do I isolate that? So the numbers I think are valuable, especially if a point comes up as gray, right? If it's red, if they're all red, well, then you know that it's low energy. But I don't think all of them are low, because if it's on the same meridian, there might be a block somewhere that's actually causing them to be, or other factors. It could be, if go look in the Ayurvedics, but having those numbers, you still have to go and look at each one and then look at their numbers, but that's really powerful. I mean, for me, I had to just go look at them all, and then based on what the flower petal was and say, oh, well, okay, this one here is really chaotic. This one here is strained, so how do I, which one do I add to? And what helps in the meridians is how the meridians flow. So that way it gives you an idea, one is, very strained and the other one is, it's learning or something. I mean, the number is just a quick visual guide. You don't have to figure out, oh, the pedal, this means that or whatever. So is that an accurate representation of what I'm saying, just so that how it carries through? Based on Laura's questions on what gray and what the number means?
What you're saying is that the numbers give you some information on what to prioritize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really the point of these numbers. The lower they are, the more important they are, and probably the lower they are, the more there will be in the priorities, and the higher they are, the more there will be in resources.
Thank you.
So it should be
that answered my question. I just wanted clarification. Thank you.
It should be a good indication of where to start. And by the way, Leon also asked last week to add an overview of these different numbers in the prevalence screen, and it should be integrated in the next version. In the prevalence screen, you should have some list of very low IC scores and very high IC scores, just to have an overview of where to start if you are a little bit lost with a particular client. Yeah. Okay.
Can I ask a question about in the harmonic boost, my last one, it says tolerance, which I found interesting. Are there some is that a psychological? Are there other, is that a frequency of the body? I didn't notice it at first, but are there other aspects that are sort of psychological or emotional that are not physical resonances? How do you evaluate tolerance?
So this is from the mind screens.
Okay.
So if you go to mind and you go down to drives.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Sorry, drives. And there you will see, now you have this follower, which is much easier because when you are looking on something, you just have to go on it. So you see all these emotions. And it actually comes from, I think it comes from a link from TCM too. So tolerance is here.
Inside, outside, and others.
Yeah. So each of these emotions is put one on the positive side. So the positive one is tolerance, for instance, and the destructive one is hyper emotional. So if you want to balance, or for instance, you have elocution and timidity, which are easier to understand. So you see, for instance, timidity is much more powerful than elocution. So the average is rather on the negative side. So you have two solutions. Either you work on timidity or you work on elocution. Because your goal would be to just get this average between the two on the positive side instead of the negative side. So you can just go take the problem frontally and work on timidity, but you can also take the problem on a sideways and work on elocution. And if you improve your elocution, your timidity will decrease.
So for tolerance, what you're saying, if I have that in my harmonic boost, I have too much tolerance.
Not especially. It's something that is no, probably too little tolerance.
Because I think I have too much tolerance, which creates a kind of a stress. I don't know how to explain it.
It's also possible. What is happening in your scan is that the tolerance is probably with a low number here. So you see this one is 80, which is very good. But if
I could just go in and find out. Yeah.
If you have a number like 40, for instance, it would be quite low and probably end up in your priorities.
Yeah, but it would be, then it would be on the hyper emotion, it would be on the destructive rather than constructive, no?
Tolerance is always on the constructive side. So the constructive side is the top part of all these emotions, and the destructive ones are the bottom part of all these emotions.
I got it, but you would then think that the higher the tolerance number, the better.
Yes, but if it's in your priorities, it's probably low.
Oh, even though it's constructive, it's low. I see.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I see. Okay. So it's not, it's trying to have, well, okay. That's what's so interesting. This feedback is so interesting because the way we think of ourselves is not always what we are.
Yes. It's also an evaluation of how your body and your subconscious really feels. So it's it can also be different of how you project yourself, of course.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, if there's Leon, do you have a question?
Yeah, a couple. a couple. Just based on what you said, you mentioned that you're going to try and make it a bit more viral in terms of having things that you could share. So in my mind, is this going to be, because I did, obviously quite a few of us have mentioned it, that there should be a free version of the report that in my mind now would be this viral thing, which would have the flower score overall, might have your real heart coherence, and that's accessible to even free users because we want the free users.
You can always export the PDF report and send them.
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking about, I'm not thinking for myself, I'm thinking about a free user that comes onto the app that's really, and we show them, I don't know, 5 to 10 bits of information. We don't want to overwhelm them because they're on a basic level anyway. But they can export that and then share that. And then, is that what you're talking about? Because I'm trying to understand what you're saying, because you were saying this is what you were looking to do, but I'm just seeing how you're looking to do it.
My idea was that now that you can screenshot any screen or organ map or anything and include them with comments for your client, it could also be directly shown as a preview of your report when you open the Magic Link. So it could be shared as a URL, and anybody could see this URL as long as you have the correct URL, even if you don't have the app installed.
Okay, I think I'll just wait for the update just to see. I'll have to play about with it.
Yeah.
To see how it
but
works.
I think you will love it. I don't know if you were there at the beginning of the call when I shown it, but in principle, you now have a photo screenshot button on every page, and when you click on it, it will just do something nice on a white background and so on, that you can just comment or add something. And when you validate it, you can then share it directly, for instance, by WhatsApp or anything. or message or save it, and it will be in the report. So if you go back to your report, sorry, yes, you will see all the screenshots that you took, and you can still click on it and share them from here. Or you can just print it or save it as PDF. Everything will be on the PDF.
Yeah, I didn't see. I heard. I came towards the tail end of it, but I didn't see this bit. To see it is even more impressive than when I heard you say that you had done it. Because yeah, I've got a guy who owns a wellness, like a shop,
Yeah.
and so yeah, this helped him a lot. This will help him, especially because we did the reading for him, and when I sent him the PDF, he was a bit disappointed because he was like, "But
Yes,
where are
that's
all
it.
these dashboards?
That's
Where are all
exactly.
these fun things that you showed me? That was amazing."
Yeah, it's
So
exactly
yeah,
this word that you used last week, which is disappointed, which I don't like.
yeah. So no,
And
genuinely, and like literally, well, tomorrow I'm going to see him. I'm going to sell him the device, tell him how to set. Yeah, it's going to be a really, really good conversation. I think it's going to be a good part of the team. So thank you. And then, all right, another question. But yeah, thank you very much for that. Again, this is why I really enjoy working with you guys because of how responsive you are. So I have to just say that for the record.
yeah.
All right, cool. So then the other one as well is yeah, I'm gonna echo Dan. I think me and Dan have both asked for this a few times. Or maybe I'll just speak for myself anyway, which is I do feel like the full version, just how they've got one free report, because the app is so new and there's not enough information and basically what I'm specifically what I'm requesting for is for them to get 1 day's access to the full version for free as part of the trial. Maybe it's on the first day or on the last day or whatever.
Well,
Yeah,
you can always do it as a distributor because we have some invitation codes that unlock everything for 7 days, for instance.
I feel like I've heard you say that. Do I need to set that up manually, or I have to ask you to, like, how does that work? Because I feel like I've heard you say that before, but I'm not
No, we have blanket
fully.
codes. We have blanket codes that you can only use one time, but that would unlock everything as a pro expert, for instance, or me expert. And it could be for 1 day or for 7 days or for even a few months.
Actually, no, we have that.
Yes, we used only that in the beginning. We gave invitation codes, and then we stopped it because we can activate it from our server too with just one click. And you can now, starting with the next version, I think, you can now just send a URL like biocoherence.net/open/an invitation code, and it will load it into BioCoherence and activate it directly. So in a sense, you can, once we give you as a distributor these special invitation codes, you can just send a URL to your client. You would click on it, and it would activate 1 day or 7 days of free experts on their device.
Yeah, I think this is crucial because quite honestly, this guy that I'm speaking to, he's asked me about 100 questions, and that's just because he's far from me. And I'm like, if I just gave him the free version, like but if he just had a version to full unlock, like literally, I spent like probably 2 hours and just back and forth because obviously everything's on my device and.
I agree.
Yeah, it's just times like I want to help him, and obviously he's going to buy from me, so I'm happy to spend the time. But then I'm also like, if he just could play a bit himself.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely, like that's a really good. Yeah, so wonderful. I really think that's going to be a good addition because it's really hard to visualize how amazing the full version of the unlock is until you experience it. And for me, I think you're going to sell at least double, if not way more, if you give them a taster for a real short period of time. Not too long,
So
obviously.
this is baked in the app from the beginning with this invitation code. So just ask Steven for these invitation codes, and then you can just give them to your clients as you wish, and it comes from you. So it's another good perk, you know.
I mean, don't you just get that onto the setting where you just put your name in and then it tells you what your code is? That's that same code, right?
No, this is your affiliation code.
What's that?
That's your affiliation code, probably. Your affiliation code gives also some perks to the user, but not the full expert version. So if you want to give a test of the full expert version as a gift to your prospective buyers, we can do that with a blanket code.
Okay.
But it will work only one time.
Can you go over that? I mean, can you show us that? I know that you've done one for me, but it only gives them 5 days or something. And
Yes,
I had asked Stephen to, unlock it for, give them the full 21 days unlocked, because that way, like Leon said, they're always asking a bazillion questions. And you know what? I could look at it. And then when it's that way, then I do the modules, then I can annotate them and send them a few links. Then that really cuts down on it. And, because that's why I'm selling the $40 scans at these fairs, because I want to give them an invitation code. I want them to see the power, right? And at 5 days, they don't get to unlock anything.
Yes, but at some point they have to subscribe. So if it's end users and you just want them to have a free launch, I'm not sure it's very good for everybody. If it's as a preview for someone that wants to buy an expert, it's perfectly normal to give them a free code. But if it's for an end user and it doesn't want to buy anything, it just wants to have everything for free, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah. If it's for an end user that doesn't want to buy anything, after 21 days and he's not, or they or whoever, the server kills it. And then from that point on, it's like, well, you saw what it can do, either, step up to the bar or, pony up, or I'm okay with that.
Anyway, we have these codes that unlock things for a period of 7 days or 30 days or something like that. So you are free to use them with your clients if you deem it interesting for this particular client.
Yeah. So how do you do that? Because last time you did that for me when you set up the code, and it just.
We can send you these codes, and you keep the code for you, and you give them only to your clients that you want to give them, and it comes from you.
Thank you.
Or alternatively, of course, we can do it from our side, but I think it's better if it comes from you. So, yes, Liam.
Oh yeah, and then the final question. Well, to be honest, I actually feel like my final question is less important if I can just give them access to the full version, because one of the things is just the MP3s. I know obviously you said that it will crash the server for some devices, but there are just some people that, because of their phones, are quite poor. They can't play the full the harmonic doesn't always play. So if they're able to just download fully, obviously at the moment it's just converting it into roughly about 8 minutes. But I still feel like, yeah, and quite honestly as well, I'm speaking to a lot of people where their phones are only like 2 years old. It's not even like it's, 5 or 10 years. Well, no one's got 10 years, but like 5 years where I'll be like, okay, cool, fair. But it's literally like 2 years old, and it sometimes struggles to play the real-time thing.
You can play the MP3. And now, again, I'm not sure you were there when I told that, but if you are doing the MP3 on your device, on your Pro account, it will be sent to the server along with the exploration and the screenshots. And when your client opens the exploration, it will download the MP3 and the screenshots, and it will be immediately available to them.
Yes, I weren't sure if that was full, because obviously every time I hear MP3, I think, obviously I know it's been chopped to like, I don't know, 8 minutes. So when you're saying this, you're saying it's going to be the full playlist, not the shortened version.
No, it will always be the short version. But the short version contains all the programs. Just the programs are shorter.
Oh, I wasn't even sure on that either.
Yeah.
That's good, because I wasn't even sure, because for me, that's good enough. I'm happy with that. That's good enough.
No, the principle of the MP3, we cannot do the MP3 for 1 hour, for instance, because it will just crash the app. So we have to shorten it, but it contains all your harmonic boost programs. It's just shorter for every one of them. But the idea with the MP3 is that you can play it several times. So anyway, it will have the same effect at the end.
Great point I hadn't thought about. That's a great point. They could just press replay. Yeah, great point.
Now the thing with the live play, which will only be possible on devices that are powerful enough, it will be useful for next functions that will come. One is for the microcurrent device that we are developing that will be synchronized to the harmonic boost. So we will be able to play the audio frequencies and simultaneously send on your skin some specific microcurrent frequencies at specific places. So you would be guided by the app to say, okay, put the device at this place or at this place and so on. And it would drive the device in real time to put the appropriate frequencies through your skin. So that will be probably available for the summit in September, October. And the second one is that I want to find a way to have some biofeedback on the frequencies. So to make a measurement of which frequencies are really necessary for you or not. And that would also come with a live play of the frequencies and a measurement to evaluate all the frequencies that are in your harmonic boost and to see which one are really responding with you or not. So these two functions that do not exist yet, but will exist soon and will require a live play of the frequencies. So we will see at that point how to do with devices that are not powerful enough if we have another solution for it. We might have another solution.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing.
We will probably have another solution, which would be to do the same as we do for the personal guide, because for the personal guide, we are already pre-computing the harmonic boost in the background and downloading them from the server. And we could do the same for the harmonic boost by just pre-computing each harmonic boost separately and just merging them at playtime, which is less compute intensive. So we should be able to play live harmonic boosts on every device as soon as we finish this one.
Yeah, I think that's important because, like I said, for me, a lot of the people with old phones are the people that need this the most, i.e. like elderly people that don't update their phone every year. So anything that we could do to help that is...
Okay, so this is on my to-do list, but it was a little bit dug under a lot of things to do the harmonic boosts, to pre-compute the harmonic boosts. So it's something like half done. So it could be done at some point. I'm just not sure it's a high priority or not, but it will be available at some point. So when it's available, harmonic boost could be pre-computed and just downloaded. Each part could be downloaded from the server and it would be just merged exactly like we do now for the personal guide, where every part is downloaded from the server and just merged at playtime, which works on any old device.
That's awesome.
Yes. Would be.
Yes, and Medrick, yesterday we spoke of this, but just to repeat myself so you could hear, I've had like 3 people, a couple old ladies that are sound sensitive to the frequencies, so they were all about it, but they didn't like how, you know, it was overstimulating to their system to hear the sounds. So that microcurrent thing is going to be awesome, and I think that makes it ready for everybody. So I'm super excited for that.
Yeah, there is just one thing. For the microcurrent to be FDA certified, we are limited to official microcurrent programs. So we will have only something like 15 or 20 included programs as microcurrents. But we will enlarge it by just placing them on relevant acupuncture points, for instance, to stimulate specific programs and playing the audio frequencies at the same time, you know. So it will always be a kind of mixed approach with audio and microcurrents. Of course, if you don't want the audio, you can just not play the audio and get only the microcurrents. But I think it would be the two intertwines that would make it really powerful. Another option would be to use bone conducting headphones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now when people I've been having these people put the headphones right on their body.
Yes.
Like if they don't hear it. But so with the microcurrent thing, is that going to be 2 separate things? Like you would still have like your headset and then the microcurrent would plug additionally, or how would that?
That's how I see it. Yes. That's how I see it. The app would drive the audio frequencies in real time and the device in real time through a Bluetooth LE connection. And it would just show you on the screen when you have to change the location of the device on your screen.
Cool.
Yeah. And it would be a very small device. I think I've already shown you. So the device looks like that. So it's a very small device that connects directly via Bluetooth and is connected in real time. And you can put some patches on it with some pin buttons, and just place it on your screen, or put a bigger patch and just move it along when it's needed. And we can also drive 2 devices at once for specific usages. So it's very open to future developments, and it will be really cheap. So really accessible for everybody. So that's also very nice.
And then you can get a little sacred geometry sticker on it with the BioCoherence logo.
Yes, probably would be nice. But this one is FDA certified for medical use and CE, so MDR in Europe for medical use. So this is very nice because you actually have the right to put it on the skin, which is quite important. So on the downside is that it's limited in programs because it's only the programs that are medically validated. But maybe it's not a downside. Maybe it's just very good like that. So we will mix these medically validated programs for microcurrents with all the audio frequencies that we have. And I think we would have a really interesting option, healing option.
Is that going to just
already
signals then? Or
Sorry?
is that going to both, like, let's say I usually plug my headset in, but if you have a Bluetooth headset and then it's going to Bluetooth you're going to be able to do.
It's not a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, we can control several Bluetooth devices at once.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is super cool.
I think so.
There are already a lot of devices on the market that are, create small currents in the body. You can use one of those, I guess, and plug your output into that.
Sorry?
What do you call those systems where, you have like these little patches that you put on your body?
Yes.
And they're connected. It's the same device, isn't it? It's just that instead of generating
it's the same.
its own
With that,
circuit.
you can put these patches, and but it's complicated to interface every device because every device has some specific protocols, and usually they don't want to give it to you. So I have to make
your own.
We have to do our own device that we can control in real time. An alternative would be to use transducers so that you can use the frequencies and put it directly on the skin. But I don't know any transducer that is FDA certified. So you have to do it yourself or use, for instance, Dan Winter's transducers, the
BioCoherence or something?
Yeah, exactly. BioCoherence that we can use with the app and with the frequencies. So if you want to apply the frequency directly on the skin, you can use such a device. But if we want a solution that is usable in medical conditions, we have to use devices like that, which are FDA certified, and not a lot of devices are FDA certified. So ours will be. Well, is already, in fact. Okay, maybe we stop here, if it's okay with you, unless you have any other question or testimonial or anything. Okay, I stop the recording.